All right, guys, we're going to do this fun milkshake. I love it. And we are going to actually do a little experimenting with a new watercolor too. So let's get started. Good morning and welcome to Deliberately Creative. I'm Stephanie and we're going to be playing with this lovely milkshake. Coffee, peanut butter, chocolate, all things cozy and indulgent. This is part of my 30 designs. Shameless plug. The book with all of the designs is available on Teespring. The link is down below in the more information box. It will be linked up here in the iCard, and it's over in the chat, pinned at the top if you are interested. All of the designs were drawn on a 14-hour marathon, and that's linked in the down below and all the stuff. So come along, let's get started here. I am going to be playing with the GenCrafts color palette, 24 color palette of watercolors. They sent it to me for free to try out, and I just went online, checked on Amazon, and right now the 24 color palette is about $15. I think that's what it was. Let me look. Now that my brain, maybe it was, yeah, 15. It's $14.86 if you have Prime. So I don't know what it is if you don't have Prime, but there. So I did do a quick, where'd it go? Oh, it's inside the box. I did do a quick swatch sheet. This palette is extruded cakes of watercolor. It's a nice little palette box. It has that little spongy bit, 2 water brushes that are, just your standard water brushes. I didn't use them yet, so I don't know what their water brushes are like. I think the pointed round one is probably pretty decent. And this has a lift-outable? Wow. A lift-out tray that you can use as a palette. It has little actual wells. You could add more colors to it, but then they would be laying towards your paint, so I don't know about that. And you can use the lid. The whole thing is an off-white. It's not a true white. It's more of a cream. And it is just a solid plastic. These are the colors. The door is going to make a squeaky noise. There we go. Thank you. These are the colors just swatched out. Pretty nice looking colors. There's only 2 browns in here. And why did I choose this for today's milkshake that's mostly brown? I don't know, but it's going to be fun. I like to mix colors up. Hey, welcome everybody coming in. Thank you. And if you are new, click that subscribe button. Make sure that you turn on your notifications so that you can be notified when new videos go up. And if you like this, click the like. All right. So anyway, I've got my little swatch, and the colors are nice. They seem to be pretty bright. Some of the colors are actually single pigment. I asked them for a pigment list so I could find out. The crimson red is a single pigment. It's PR 48.2. The magenta is PR 146, and it doesn't look like magenta to me. It's a very Pepto-Bismol type pink. The tangerine is PO 13, and it's a very nice orange, and it makes really good brown, so I'm really excited for that. The bright yellow here is PY 14, and then the softer yellow, the more greenish yellow or cooler yellow, is PY 3. And then we go down to the dark green right here, which is like a phthalo green, I think, and it is PG7. That may not be a phthalo green, but it seems very bluish and very, what do I want to say? It's very bluish. The ink blue is their phthalo blue, and that's the PB 15-3. The violet, it's kind of, I don't know. The violet didn't, it's this one right here, I think. No, sorry, it's this one right here. The violet is very washed out, and it's PB 29, which should be your ultramarine blue, I think. And it is a cooler blue, but it's very, very light on the pigment for that one. The black is PB 7, and the white is PW 6. Everything else are mixes, but a lot of them are mixes of paint that's here in the palette. So you could have mixed them up yourself, you know? So yeah, you like Pepto-Bismol? It's kind of like Cinnamon Cooney, the art stripper's husband, before he was really comfortable with saying quinacridone. He would call it Passamaquoddy pink for a quinacridone magenta. So, you know, which was using a really crazy name to fill in for a crazy name. Anyway, so it's a nice solid little set. It's not too big. My hand is small, and it just barely is bigger than my hand. So the case is 3 3/4 by 7 inches. And it is, for the depth, it's about 3/4 of an inch deep. So that's pretty much that. Oh, it does come with a little pad of paper in that $15. So this, in the case like that, is the same price right now as this palette that I've been using for the last month. It was another reason for doing that, because this is another $15 palette versus a $15 palette. You do have 42 colors in this one. The amount of color you have is considerably less. I just noticed that this one broke, and somewhere around here I have a chunk of paint that I will put back in. So thank you guys. All right, we need to get painting because, oh, and the paper that's in the little palette or pad that they gave you is sort of a blue. It's not white. And the colors do mix well. They do flow together nicely. This was the dark green, which is like phthalo green, and the ink blue, which is like phthalo blue. And what you get in the middle if you just let them flow together. Thank you. All right. That is enough of that part. We're just going to start painting. But I want to put in I want to put a bit of a halo kind of off center around this, I think, kind of going off to the side. If we look at the reference, and I do have the reference right here, it's got a pretty dull looking background, doesn't it? So it's just sort of a gray. I want something a little more pumped up. Let's pump it up a little bit. So what colors are the opposite of the browns? The opposite of the browns is going to be in the blue range, just because the opposite of orange is in the blue range. I don't have a color wheel sitting here in front of me, but you know what? I want to put a little bit of a highlight around here and there. It's like, do I have a pencil? Yes. This is a Helix circle maker or circle ruler, and it works really well. I'm not going to ink in the highlight around it. I'm just going to put it in with paint, but I want to have an idea of how big. I'm saying I'm going to put it off center, or I could put it centered up. I want it off center. My initial feeling was I want it off center. I want it to go off the edge of the paper. So I'm going to look here and go, what's going to get me off the edge of the paper? about that big. Right there. And then I will just erase out that line. So I'm thinking kind of maybe sunsetty. You have a pink box. I don't remember that particular box coming in, so I'm going to have to research. What box are you looking for? If it's the same brand, they're fairly decent watercolors. Yeah, GenCraft. And they contacted me and they asked if I would do a review. And they sent me the paints. So, you know what? I am maybe not the frugal crafter in how I do my stuff, but hey, I like to save money where I can. I am going to lighten up. Just with this kneaded eraser, I'm just going to tap that, lighten it up. The circle maker that I used is, like I said, the Helix circle maker. It's super cheap. Super cheap. It's only like $5 online on Amazon. And I do have all the links down below in the more information box, even for the GenCraft paints. So, all right. I want to get this background going in. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. I thank you so much for indulging me in doing my quick little first look review type of thing. I'm going to go around the background. I'm going to go right over that straw. It's a metallic straw. It's one of those trendy people straws. And this is going to be maybe a little bit surreal because I think this circle back here is going to be in that yellow and oranges tone, make it kind of sun-like. But then, or it could be the moon. So I could keep it on the lighter side and then go to, okay, galaxy. Yeah, galaxy. What do you think? We're going to do a galaxy. And we're going to have the moon with the galaxy. And the MilkShake is hanging out. This is going to be fun. So what I'm going to do here is just get all of the background wet. I did wet the straw down. I can lift out. Now this is on the Hanamula bamboo mixed media paper. It is made for watercolor, acrylic, pastel, and colored pencil and things like that work on it really well. It's 265 GSM. I do have that linked in my shop also on Amazon. If you're interested, it is lovely. If you like to lift, it is beautiful for lifting color out. If you like to go over your paints many times, it's not as nice for that because your paint will lift again, and it doesn't seem to matter if it is... Oh, I'm just using a little sprayer. This was an eyeglass cleaner bottle, so it's just a little spray bottle with a nice mist. And I did get my palette card, or my little card got wet. I'm going to just set that off to the side and let it dry. Do a planet instead of a moon. Yeah, I could do a planet here. The neat thing is that, you know, we can do whatever we want. The actual chips, these are half pans. This is a 1-inch brush. So let you see, that is a 1-inch flat brush. And this palette will become a mess. So I'm putting in just some of the blue. We'll be able to lift out some of that galaxy stuff going on too, but put some of that blue in. I'm going to put some of the pink in, and I am doing it with my big brush, even though Chocolate Planet. Well, you know what? I love you guys. I love my community. You guys are awesome. I'm picking up some of that, what they call magenta, and putting some of that in. It does do a nice purple with that blue. So that's cool, eh? I'm just going to work this around my chocolate milkshake. Oh, gee. Yeah, the chocolate milkshake in the Milky Way. I crack myself up sometimes, people. It's okay, though. You know, let's have fun. I'm just taking that pink edge right close to the planet. There we go. So I was thinking originally I was going to do this with gouache. And I do have some of the GenCraft gouache, so maybe I will grab some of that out when we're doing the... I need to darken that edge right there. Darken that up a little bit. Maybe when we're doing the details, the stars, things like that, I can grab that out. I have not done anything. I haven't even opened the box except just to take a look inside. Let's go and let's see what the side view looks like. Ooh, that's kind of pretty. And yeah, the galaxies are kind of fun, you know? I want to keep this in the cool, so I might grab some yellow, but I don't know. Yellow is just going to make green. It's not going to be a yellow out in space, but at least on this painting, because I'm so covered with the blue. Look at that. See, I want to get those to kind of mix together. The blue really flows nicely. The pink pretty much stays put. I'm putting a bit more water on here. Get some of that to flow around. Ooh, I just made that really dark. Look at that. Galaxies do go to very, very dark. I am going to pull some of the black in here, I think, before it gets too dry. I just rinsed out my brush a little bit. I wasn't very vigorous with it. Just dry it off. See, it's still blue. No biggie. I want to grab some of that black and work it in. I'm going to actually work some of that black. I'm just going to work it in chunks. This is a very free form type of background. Yours will look totally different, and that is part of the cool factor here. As soon as I dry this, my tape is going to start pulling off of the paper, just because of the way the paper shrinks when it gets wet and then dry. See, there we go. Now you can see that even better. I'm using the brush just a little bit, kind of draw through, drag some of that paint, move some of that black in unexpected places. See, setting it down and then twisting it. This is very fun. I'm going to actually darken up that bottom corner a little more, maybe a little bit of that underneath of the milkshake in the Milky Way. But this is a fun way to get a background in without, really having to, you're not drawing it. I'm bringing a little bit more of that blue kind of coming across the black. There we go. Just letting it be a little bit cloudy. There we are. What strength of hugs should you be set to, Amy? You know what? Just don't knock people down. That's the only thing. It's just less than knocking people down. I am going to pull a little bit of the color out around that planet, I think, so it'll feel like it's kind of glowing, maybe. Just sort of soften it up around the outside. I think the planet is going to go in kind of Jupiter-ish, maybe oranges and reds. Let's zoom in just a smidge. Just a touch. There we go. So galaxies always look a little bit messy and unkempt. You know? I want to put a little bit of pink right there. Just put a little puddle of pink and have it sort of woozing out. And I do have this taped down to a piece of plastic board. This is that Coral Plast. It is corrugated plastic board. See? It's great because I can use it as a palette, a place to put paint, but it's also nice because the tape will stick to it. The tape will stay stuck here. It might come loose from the paper, but it's going to stay stuck on. I'm just going to work that across. Give us a little bit of some randomness in the sky here. Woo. A little more pink off that side. The pink is making a lovely purple. I don't necessarily want it everywhere, but I do want some showing up in unexpected places. All right, we're going to dry it, and then I will go ahead and grab out that gouache so we can sprinkle the stars. I just cleaned see what I mean about it lifting? I just went like this, a little tiny dab of water, and it just lifted right out of the chocolate. See? Ooh. Oh, look at that. Because it lifts so nicely, we can get some random Oh, I like that. I'm not pressing hard, and it's just a matter of wherever it picks up some color, it picks up some color. That will be nice when we do our cozy galaxy. All right, I'm going to put that brush down. I'm grabbing my move that out of the way. I'm grabbing my heat tool, and we're going to start drying this. I have not even swatched the gouache yet. I'm letting it bounce there. The GenCraft 50 piece gouache. And I'm basically just going to be using the white. I don't have any pigment information on the gouache. Whoops, sorry about that. Oh, guys. But before I do it, I'm going to put more black in here. I'm looking at it going, it's softening up a lot. I want it to be a little bit deeper. Got to go shopping with your daughter. Retail therapy. Ooh, fun times. You know, make sure and stop, grab something to eat that you can take back to your car and be nice and safe. Oh, wow. This is doing some fun stuff. Let's down here. I love that. We are going to add some more black into that background. I'm not going to add any more colors. I think it's just going to be the black. There we go. Yeah, it is trying to pull up a little bit off the paper, off the plastic. That's a nice thing though. With this paper, you do have to heat the tape before you take it off, or it will pull the fibers on your paper. All right. So I am looking at this going, I'm going to go down through here and grab the gouache, the white. Of course, it's at the gouache comes in these trays. It won't stay this way. I will be taking them out of the trays and dumping them into the box. Here's the white. So they are metal tubes. They are 12 mil gouache. They are non-toxic ASTMD. The company, it's an American company, but the paints are made in PRC, I think. My guess. Because the watercolors are made in China. So, all right. Now I've got my gouache out. I'm going to zoom out just a bit. Focus. Must be focused. Squirrels. Squirrels. I get caught by squirrels. So, cozy painting here. What's more cozy than a lovely milkshake, you know? I'm grabbing the number 12 Mimic brush. Oh, the first one I was using was the 1-inch Simply Simmons flat wash watercolor brush. It is a all of my brushes here are synthetic. I don't have the money to have real hair brushes. This is a synthetic squirrel by Creative Mark, and that's a Jerry's Artorama company. I'm not sponsored by any of these guys. I'm just telling you what I'm using. So I'm grabbing some black. The black is nice. I'm going to put more water on it and kind of drag it off around a little bit. Kind of twirling the brush some. The black gives you more depth in your sky. So you want your black to be fairly pigmented. I have found that I really like galaxy skies because they are freeform. They do what they want. You know, kind of like those shirts that you've seen where the little kid is, you know, I do what I want. That's what galaxies do. They do what they want. They are not. I'm going to bring that right up to that, right there. And I want to have a little bit of water on it so that it kind of flares out some on its own, whatever it does. I like having these little holes where you don't know, am I looking through the black or is the black, you know, behind it? You don't know. But going in and adding a bit more black. Then we're going to sprinkle stars on with the gouache after we dry it. Get that nice and dark. Kind of in random pockets of Paint Mark is the set that you had gotten. Okay. I've never used them, but many companies, and I don't know, you know, many companies use the same paint manufacturers and rebrand them. So I don't know what Paint Mark is. I don't know who GenCraft goes through, but GenCraft is is an American company that's doing it. So, and it's a family-owned American company. They've got, I think, 12 or 15 products, is what she was saying. I have some different products coming from a couple different companies. This one, there's another company that contacted me right before Christmas, and I said, sure, send it on. We didn't buy Christmas presents this year, so I'm counting this kind of like my Christmas. And you guys get to play along with me as I play along with my Christmas presents, right? There we go. Soften that up. I just want to soften it up. I don't want it to look like I just painted it. Hey, George. Welcome. You're off work today, huh? Glad I could get this in when you were here. Or you were here when I was here. All right. So we're doing a galaxy sky with the GenCraft watercolors. And right now, the black is nice. The black is nice. The colors, the other colors are nice. And I think that's good. I don't want to mess with that much more. I'm going to dry this again. We're going to sprinkle on the stars and then start working on the planet because it's behind. And I'm going to sprinkle the stars on so I can just work that paint in. Oh, that's right. Before I do that, I'm going to go like this. I'm just making it feel a little more cloud-like by just touching a few of those spots and lifting out some of the paint, even as it's drying. There we go. The boxes are identical. Okay, cool. So the boxes are identical with that little lift out tray and stuff. Yep, they're probably made by the same company. It's nice. I mean, it's a $15 palette of paint. And when the little chips are empty... Oh, that was the other thing I didn't show you. The little trays, you can actually pull them out in 6 color sets. So you could set up this palette any way you want. These are actually little plastic half pan boxes that fit in there. So you could, if you like the palette, continue to use it afterwards. You know, it's not a throwaway palette. Just trying to get that dry. I'm going to put the stars on, then we're going to and then we will do the planet, and then we'll do the chocolate milkshake. So we're going to be here for a little bit, guys, but that's the fun, right? So I just got, this is a Crayola Series 590 size 10 brush. I'm going to try it out for my splatter this time. Oh. All right, so these paints, the GenCraft gouache does have the little foil capping in it to keep it from getting dried out in transit, and it does have the little pokey bit on the inside of the cap so that you can open. There we go. So now I'm gonna I need more paint. So starting off here, the top of that, this is a much softer bodied gouache. I'm gonna put just a touch of water on it though, because I need to be able to get my spatter. And since I have black paper on the background here, let's see. I'm splattering myself. I didn't get enough water in it. Or this brush is just holding all the paint. So I'm going to squeeze it back out. and grab my so the paint is very creamy, very, I mean, very, very creamy. It's almost, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm going to rinse that out. It doesn't have that gouache grittiness or to it. So I need something that's got a little bit more scruffliness, I think. But I'm testing this off the, let's see. Yeah, okay. Let's see. I think what it was is the bristles were just too soft on that Crayola brush. I'm going to pump out a lot more of that paint. So if you have used like the Arteza gouache or even the what was it? The Turner Acryl gouache even, which is an acrylic, has more of a grittiness. This does not feel gritty. It's kind of like putting a puddle of, I don't know, butter almost. I'm trying to see how opaque this is. Wow, I'm flicking paint all over the place, but not on my painting. There we go. Starting to get it to release off the brush now. So when you're striking it here, it's flicking the paint down and back towards me. So of course I'm wearing, you know, a black sweater, and I'm doing it on top of the black paper. Let's zoom in though so you can see that. Come on. Really? Let's see. Will it zoom in now? So I'm going to come down into this area right here. Get some more of that paint on there. Ah! Don't do this where, I mean, truthfully, you can do this anywhere because the gouache is just water paint. I'm going to have little white speckles on my glasses. I'm feeling them hit me. I'm getting more. Come on. So, one thing I can say is that the white is very, this feels translucent. I'm going to have to wipe my glasses off when I'm done, guys. I'm getting lots of stars all over the middle. Okay, so for comparison, I've got the Arteza white gouache right here. And I'm going to put some of it out. And then next to it, I will put the GenCraft gouache. So let's look at that. The Arteza gouache is very heavy body. Let's do the tap test and see. I'm really tapping. And look at that. The GenCraft gouache is more puddly. The Arteza gouache is much more stands up much more. I think I'm going to grab some of the Arteza gouache on here, and we're going to get it wet now. So I got it wet like I did the other one. I'm going to suck some of that water out by just laying the paper towel down and putting the edge of the brush on that. Let's see if I can See, this one is there. So let's go to the side view. Ha ha ha. So right here, I'm putting my finger, this is an angle brush. I'm putting my finger on it and I'm just flicking back. Look at those stars. This is the Arteza gouache. So the Arteza gouache is has a bit more of the white pigment in it. It feels, yeah, it feels a little more, it's like it has a bit more body. Arteza does not sponsor me either. They just send me free stuff every once in a while. At this point. But you know what? At some point, somebody's going to start sponsoring my channel. And I know that. And it's going to be this year. Looks like magic. Yeah, yeah. Doesn't that feel more like it's out in the middle of space now? Let's go back to the top down and zoom out. So that looks good. That looks good. I think I'm going back to the GenCraft wash, and I'm going to go, and since it's so fluidy, it's up here. There we go. I'm going to see. Yeah, see, it's very, I'm just kind of making a bit of a cloud with that gouache. It's not very it's not very opaque. So I'm sort of letting it pick up the paint underneath. It's getting a little gray. It's making a transition. It's making a transition. I think that's okay. I think I am going to wipe my glasses off. Oh yeah, you won't. This should be a new constellation. Yeah, there we go. All right, so I know that it feels a little bit wasteful, but I am going to just wipe all that gouache off because I can just see my hand going through it. And we need to dry this. And while we're drying it, if you're interested in my artwork and my channel, please click that subscribe button. Make sure that you turn on your notifications so that you'll be notified when I do new videos. I am trying to go live most days this month. I will be taking off at least one day a week completely where I'm not doing anything work related. And yeah, it's one of those things. But I am doing all of the artwork is coming out of my 30 cozy and creative hand-drawn designs to print and color. This is an instant download coloring book that you can do. You can click the link in the description or in the chat. It's pinned at the top of the chat. So please go ahead. If you were interested in supporting my channel, that is an awesome way to support my channel. The book is $5.99, so $6, and I actually get almost $5 of that from Teespring. So you're actually really supporting me when you help out that way, more so than the YouTube super chats. You know, if you wanted to give me $5 on a YouTube super chat, you'd have to give me $7.50. So hey, this is a deal. And you get something. See, that's the thing, is that I have a thing about, I like to give something in return for, you know, the support that you guys are giving me, and it's a nice product. I did get, my version of this is in for review now at Amazon. So the book has been laid out. It has been submitted for publication. And hopefully in the next day or so, I should have a link for the actual printed soft-covered book from Amazon. But not yet, but it's coming. Yeah, you know what? They call it the COVID-19. The weight that we've all been gaining because of the lockdown situation and not being able to go to gyms or feel comfortable going out into public. So yeah, it's the COVID-19. I am going to go back and grab the number 12. And let's go ahead and zoom in. You know what? We really don't need the MilkShake on there yet because we're just going and doing the planet now. I am going to do, I think, kind of a Jupiter-ish planet. And what I need to do that is to go and do a search for Jupiter, maybe? Let's go and we're just doing all kinds of things. We're just going to go and do a search for image Jupiter. And that way, ooh, look at that. Aren't those pretty? So I'm just going to click on View All. Jupiter in ultraviolet. That's very pretty. But it's a little bit too blue, so I think I want to go maybe. See, it's not as red or orange as you think, but I'm thinking because we can do a nice flow on that. You know, we can get that nice flowy, watercolory, drop a few dots, put an orange spot. I like that. I think that's where we're going. So let's go back to the top down. There we go. And back to here so I can see you guys. Oh yeah, the great red spot. That is, I'm going to have it rotated. The spot's going to be right here, I think, in that general vicinity. I am not going to use my Crayola brush. The Crayola brushes are actually pretty decent if you're using them for, it doesn't come to as tight a point, but I've had this for like 20 years, maybe 30 years. Maybe 25 years. 25? Doctor Who, the dress. The TARDIS dress up as a shake. Oh, the TARDIS dress up as a shake. Ooh, that would be interesting. Not this one, though. Now I need to grab my... Where did I sit down? I just had it in my hand. Oh, there it is. You know, sometimes you have something in your hands and you forget where you put it. I am actually going to grab that... is the dark yellow and some of the tangerine, and they don't really have a yellow ochre. So what I'm going to do is grab a little bit of this sort of brown tone, add it, and just get a base coat in here for the planet. I have gouache that did, the speckles that did hit here. It's going to do some interesting and unexpected things, I expect, since I do have both the Arteza gouache and the Gen Craft gouache on here. So the gouache will lift back up. Right now I'm just trying to get some of that on here. And I'm going to be working it in a, let's see here, in a horizontal pattern because of the way the planet spins, and all of its weather sort of runs around in a horizontal going around. I'm going to grab some of the darker, getting some of those bands on there. See, it already looks like a planet. I am going to put an impact spot on here though. So I need to get that impact spot. I think I'm going to add a little, maybe the cad red to it. And then we'll work this area around it. Maybe just some straight cad red. It's going to start getting more and more of that sort of planety swirl. I'm going to say that it's more of a swirl. It kind of grabs onto some of that material that's around it, and then it spins some of it off. Making up my planet, though, it is not the exact representation of Jupiter. That is way too... I'm going to take a little touch of green. Wow, the green with that, supposed to be cad red, I believe. Where'd the lid go? I didn't write my note. Yeah, that's supposed to be cadmium red. I don't know. That doesn't feel orange enough to be cadmium red, but... just sort of let that start oozing around. Maybe there's a bit of that planetiness going on. We've got Uncle Dan in the room. Aliens having a cocktail? Yeah. The aliens like chocolate peanut butter mochas. And mocha milkshakes. They got a hankering for the Starbucks frappuccino. There it is. It's a chocolate mocha milkshake frappuccino. There we are. So we're getting a bit of that planet in there. I want to work a little bit of that darker tone around the edge, just because that's what I'm doing. And remember that this does lift up on the bamboo paper. It does lift quite a bit. Maybe it's the great rose spot. It's the great orange rose, the great red rose. Whatever planet this is, they have the great red rose. That's it. That's what this swirl is making me think of. It's making me think of a rose. And I'm not sure which side the sun is on. The Jupiter does get a little bit of light from the sun. And again, this is not exactly Jupiter. Could be some planet in the Star Wars universe. I don't know. Could be. But the background, I think, is done enough. What do you think, guys? Yeah, my patrons, make sure and put ideas that you have on the on Patreon, because you never know when I'm going to. Oh. Okay, guys, I'm happy with that. What are you guys happy with that? That's just making me giggle. It's making me giggle. It's making me so happy. I hope you don't mind that it's taken us an hour to get to this point. But it's been fun. And you've had a whole paint review. And you got a little gouache review too. And we still have the MilkShake to put in. Yeah, so hubby and I decided we had gained way too much and went keto. He's already lost 41 pounds and you've lost 33. Wow, Michelle. See, I already have to live a gluten-free lifestyle. So if I just pay attention to what I'm eating beyond my gluten-free and just stay with my fresh fruits and vegetables, and I tend more towards a vegetarian eating style anyway. So I mean, a little bit of chicken. I hardly eat beef at all. I'm going to soften that up just a little bit. And because paint lifts on this paper so well, you can. Ooh. See, I'm pushing that black back just a little bit. Maybe I didn't like that dot so much. Yeah, so this is really me working in the studio today, guys. I'm thinking this is going to be a journal cover or some type of maybe a logbook for the car. What do you think? For the days when we get to go back out in our cars? A travel journal. This could be a travel journal cover. I like that. Okay. A little bit softer right down here. My brush is barely wet. See, look at that. It's giving us that sort of almost like I know there's not really an atmosphere. There's a bit of an atmosphere on Jupiter, but it's kind of like an atmosphere glow. Darken that up on the underside of that straw. There we go. So there we go. Wow. Wow, congratulations, Lorianne. Getting your weight under control using a diet that worked for you, and not having the diabetes anymore. That is a blessing to be counted on for sure. Okay, there. I need to stop playing around there and get that. Oh, that just looks so cool. That just looks so cool. Sweet Dreams Journal. Oh, Darcy, that's awesome. Yeah, that would be a great one to do, wouldn't it? Sweet Dreams. I am getting this straw wet, and I am going to just blot out some of that color. Look at that. How nicely that just blots out. All right. So now we're going to put that reference picture back up here. I need to do something to keep that from sliding. I just took my big knob of kneaded eraser and stuck it to my desk, and now it's keeping the paint from sliding. I'm going to go ahead also and turn on the reference. Let's see. I don't think we're going to be using much in the way of the colors down here at the bottom, so I'm going to make that a little bigger. My feel is that we're going to be up here in the oranges and browns. So I'm going to grab some of this. They called it a just dark brown or golden brown. So there's a golden brown. I'm just going to put it right here on top of that. There is the umber brown, which is darker, and I'm just going to throw some of that on here. It's much more blue, kind of like that darker chocolatey brown up at the top. I like that. I'm going to take some of that yellow, put it down here because I need to work something out to get that creamy. And the white actually does work. These books have given you a reason to wake up in the mornings. What books are you talking about, Shauna? I just... Yeah, before you just had food, now you're busy painting and drawing. Aww. Hey, Linda, that's awesome. I'm going to grab just a touch of that umber brown and put it into this yellow down here. Okay, so that's already starting to go the right way. And since we have it out, we're going to use that GenCraft gesso and mix it in. That's still a little too yellow. So what do we need to do to make that go a little bit more brown? We actually need some blue well, what we need really is a purple, but you know, I'm just looking for the littler brush. Get that back up there. Stay. So I'm going to grab, maybe I'll grab some purple. Yeah, purple's going to be good. Grab some purple. I know it's still not looking quite right, but look at that. It's getting closer, isn't it? And I'm not really mixing up enough. I'm going to grab some more of the purple. So now that I know where I'm going, I'm grabbing purple, grabbing yellow, making kind of a muddy brown. Like that, and then we'll add more white. This is really, really soft paint. I'm just trying to, oh, yay, yay. All right, see? Purple and yellow with white. And this is white gouache. Oh, that's giving me the perfect color for the actual milkshake that's in there. Now, the gouache does make it a little bit, it has a interesting feeling to it. It's a different, this is not just your regular kind of gouache feel. And I don't know if that is the case for all of the colors. All I've done is open the white, so I will do a little swatching video. I did record a swatching video of the watercolors, so if anybody's interested, leave me a comment and tell me you want the swatching video of the watercolor. Just keep working more of that since I mixed the color up, I know how to mix more of it. And this is kind of my first layer here. I am being a little bit patchy with it going in, but there's some shadows and stuff in that mug. It's not just one flat color. So I'm going to embrace the patchiness. Go with it, guys. Go with it. Zoom that in. That planet just looks so cool. See what I mean about it being patchy right now? Don't worry about it. Don't worry. We are here for the cozy factor. We're here for the chatting. We're here for the learning new stuff, experimenting. This brush really is kind of soft for the gouache. What I mean by that is that the bristles seem to be sucking the paint back and not releasing it down towards the tip as easily. So you saw what I did there? I kind of rolled my brush, squeezing the paint out and then getting it back onto the tip. And this puddle down here is the same color, so we need to get that. So let's grab some more and get some of that on there. We're not putting those coffee beans down on the floor because they'd just be floating in space or down on the counter. This is very surreal, isn't it? I like the suggestion of it being the alien treats. I do need to be mindful of my time today and your time. And that's one of the things also about doing paintings like this. You can lose time. You can start getting very drilled in, very mindful of what you're doing. But look at that. We've got that layer of chocolatey peanut butter coffee goodness going on here. Oh yeah, you can mix gouache and watercolor together. If you only have a white gouache and a palette of watercolor, you've got all the colors. You've got all the colors of gouache that you have with your watercolor palette. I am going to say that I need more of my chocolatey tone up here. I'm actually going to add a little bit of gouache to it too, to give it a little bit of body. It will lighten it. It will lighten the color. And then I can go in and I can paint right over the top of it with the darker tone. So this is my bottom layer. Gouache is just an opaque watercolor pigment. That is what gouache is. So let's get that first layer on there. Then we can go in and we can put our shadows. This is fun though. I love doing stuff like this. Yeah, okay. See, my puddle just went a little bit. My puddle went a little bit rogue on me there. And all the gouache did was give it just a little bit of opaqueness, a little bit more body. So we're just, where it's wet now, I can go like this and just sort of, the paint will sort of flow around and follow. Just getting that in there. And because we drew it in layers, you know, there's that layer of the layer inside the glass. There's the layer of chocolate on the outside. There's the layer of the froth that's whiffing over the top. Okay, Amy, you be safe. So Debbie, it's not great right now, but you agree the tutorials and chat help. Yeah, tutorials and chats, things that take us out of ourselves, really do seem to make a difference. So one of the things I like about this is that because it is a coloring sheet, you can do it with any material, any medium. You could color this whole thing in with crayons if you wanted to. There's some amazing crayon art out there. There's amazing pen art. This would be beautiful done in alcohol markers or even watercolor markers. I have seen art. You can make art with anything. So don't let my choice of medium stop you from playing with the images. My choice of medium right now is watercolor and gouache. That's kind of my choice after I've got my pen and ink. Because in the long scheme of things, pen and ink is my most favorite thing in the whole wide world. I am picking up some more of my chocolatey brown, adding it, and that's black. I don't really want, well, a little touch of black isn't going to hurt it. Because this side over here actually needs to be darker than this side. This is where the highlight is, sort of. But I'm going to start putting some highlight and shadow in, and more shadow. This is this size of painting is so easy drawings. I love that you're here. We don't do self-promotion, so I'm sorry that I'm not going to be showing your showing those messages. If you're here to support the community, that's awesome. Just as you would like to have people come and do for you, and you wouldn't want people to come and start yelling for people to leave your channel and go over to somebody else's, right? You'd want them to stick around on yours and support you while they're there for you. Now, I will go and take a look at your channel afterwards, but I'm not one of those channels that does the sub call outs for people that I don't know. So that's just what that is. And it's not any reflection on you, and you may be a wonderfully nice person. I assume that you probably are a really nice person. But there's some etiquette that we learn as our channels start to grow and develop. So I hope that you understand that. Birdie Ann, hello. Oh, I love the chocolate and heart. That's beautiful. Thank you. So just coloring it in. We're just coloring it in. I'm using the GenCraft palette of 24 watercolors and their white gouache. and playing with it and seeing how this works, you know? Let's see. I see another stripe of darker chocolate right up in here. I do have the reference right there on the screen for you. It is from Unsplash, so you can find the reference on Unsplash. Nice thing about it, references on Unsplash are free to use for commercial purposes, as long as you're not repurposing or just taking their piece of their photograph and not doing anything to it. I think that it's, you know, yeah, a lot of people do. They just go grab from, because it doesn't block you from doing it, but they just grab photos, and you just can't say it's your photo. The photo is still owned by the original artist, but they are granting license for people to, there we go, it's more chocolatey. They're granting license to people to use their artwork, and I choose to use their artwork as references for my art. There we go. It's getting chocolatey. It's getting chocolatey in here, guys. Art has gotten you through more than you ever knew, or more than I ever knew. Yeah, yeah. Art is that. Hello, Harlan. Welcome. Yeah, it's a good palette. It's actually a decent paint. It is a student level. There are some single pigment colors. I went through it at the beginning of the video, so there are some single pigment colors in here, which is nice. And I'm just, you get in there and I just want to like drill down and start being very quiet, but I'm trying to be entertaining too. So we've got chocolate. I'm just putting a little bit of a shadow down here in the puddle that's down below. I took some of the gouache, just white, and added other colors to it to kind of thicken them up, and almost off the screen completely. Wow. Leaving some highlights. That's why you go and you put your lightest color down. Because I have the gouache in this, I'm going to check and see if it will go, the lighter color can come back over the top of it. I don't know. This white gouache seems to be kind of light. I do need to build up my dark underneath in the shadows on that chocolate. So I'm just grabbing some of that. I'm going to pick up a little bit of this. Ooh, maybe we'll go there. Let's see. How does that go? It's not quite dark enough. You love my stories. Well, thank you, Harlan. I appreciate that. I am a beginner still with watercolor, and I like to show what I'm doing because it helps other people see that you don't have to have all the skills to start off. You grow and you learn. I did a full month of watercoloring in December of all kinds of ornaments, holiday ornaments, different shapes and things. And Loretta, thank you. Normally I lurk and listen and watch, but figured I'd pop in to say hello for once. Love the giggles as much as I enjoy listening and watching. Aw, thank you. That's something that I share pretty much every time, is you have to be your own support here. When I'm painting this and I go, oh, I really like what I did right there. Maybe I can find another spot where I can try that. Will it work over there? Maybe. So building up yourself, because you're the one sitting there in your studio working on it. Nobody else is sitting there watching you. Many of us don't want to have other people watching us as we paint, as we're learning. I am doing this, I am learning and I am painting with people watching me. And it's very interesting. Again, kind of like this picture. Let's zoom out just so you can see it a little bit better. Look at that. Look at that. We are coming together here. We've got this wonderful outer space, planet, galaxy going on. We've got this peanut butter chocolate mocha milkshake. Oh my goodness, puddling off into space. Do I read the chat again once it's over? I try to, yes. As long as I haven't had to go in and do any editing. As soon as I do any editing to the video on the live stream, it loses the chat. So I try to make sure and read before I do any editing. So I try to go in and read. But if there is something, if you have a question, make sure and put it all in capital letters. And I'm more likely to see it. I do try to keep half an eye out on the chat. But I'm running the whole thing, on my own, by choice. By choice. I am a control freak when it comes to certain things. So my husband is in the other room and he's kind of watching, but he's also doing his own art and getting ready for work and all of those things. So this is my job. This is kind of what I do. Looks like it's on a rock. It could be. It could be a little peanut butter asteroid. How about that? Sitting on a peanut butter asteroid. Just sort of softening it up, putting some shadows in. I wanted it to look like it was, floating on something more than just a little magic carpet. So I'm glad that that's working. All right. Now, one thing with gouache, it feels like the gouache is actually helping it stick to the paper a little bit more. The watercolor tends to release. Mark isn't creeping. He's working. He's getting stuff done for other things. I just keep going back in and picking up more of the darker color. I'm trying to start working that shadow in, but I also need to get a bit of that darker tone right up in here. There's going to be some of the light coming through again, but I want some shadow in it. And I do need to start getting those chocolates. So I'm just going to give it a quick base color of this brown, and then we'll go darker. These are those peanut butter cups that are broken up and put in the top. It's darker around the edge. So this is available in my coloring book that is an instant download on Teespring. So make sure and check that out. It's linked up at the top of the chat. It's also linked down below in the more information. It is an instant download, so you buy it and you have access to it instantly. If you have problems with your download or finding your download, make sure and contact the support at Teespring, because I don't have any access to your actual order. So I don't know who's ordered. So if you have any trouble, please make sure and contact Teespring. Look at that. That already looks like the peanut butter cup. Grabbing some of that dark golden brown, dark brown, putting some more of it straight in. So it looks like we've got some of those ridges from the paper cup that goes around. We've got some of that edge that's right here. I'm leaving some highlights. All right, Levi. We're not. Now, I'm going to put you in timeout, Levi. If you choose to participate in a good way, I am happy to have you here. But if you choose that you don't like it, you don't have to stick around. It's, we're in a wonderful world where people don't have to, you don't have to watch it if you don't like it. You can move on. And that's the wonderful thing about YouTube. You can just move on. And that's okay. But everybody starts somewhere. Everybody's growing and learning. And it's okay to have feelings on something. But if it's not a kind feeling, you can share it inside your head. But let's keep it inside your head. I don't know. My mom taught me when I was very little that if you don't have something nice to say, just don't say it. Walk away. If you don't have something nice to say, just walk away. You get a lot farther in the world being kind and sharing love and joy. The coloring book is in for review right now on Amazon. So it's the Cozy and Creative, and it's actually Cozy and Creative Designs for Positivity and Mindfulness. It will have those words on there too. And it's the same book. It's the same pages, everything in the same order. So let's look here. So let's zoom out and do that little three-way so that you can. So that's the reference. This is what we started with. So this is what's actually on the coloring page, okay? So it looks very basic, but then you can do things to it. You can make it grow into something even more expansive. Isn't that awesome? So yes, the book should be available. I'm hoping for Friday. It all depends on YouTube and not YouTube, sorry. It all depends on Amazon and their reviewers, because an actual person is going to review the book beforehand to make sure that it fits into the guidelines. That's right. Yeah, I don't understand the negativity either. So I just, and I didn't actually remove them from the chat. I'm giving them a chance to, once they're out of timeout, if they want to stick around and hang out and be kind and, ask questions about art. I want to give people a chance, because sometimes you just hit somebody on a bad day, right? But if there's more not positivity, we will move it along. Aw, Birdie Ann, thank you. So I'm putting a little bit of the shadow in where the edge of that cream. I need to focus, and then I need to turn off the autofocus. There we go. I actually like this. Maybe I will put the white gouache and make it look more like it's melted whipped cream. I kind of like that. Let's see. Do I want to go? We're just gonna go for it. We're gonna make it that cream color that we had. So You think that's what you like about this, watching them come to life? Yeah, having it change from the very simple and basic line drawing to something that's much more detailed is really quite cool. All right, I need to grab more of that yellow because we were doing the yellow, the purple, and then the gouache. Thank you, Ruth. Luscious Galaxy. It is a luscious galaxy, yes. So now we're going to go in here. That's a little bit darker than I want it. That's okay. I'll pull that right down here along by the shadow. Right along that bottom edge. See, if you get something too dark, there's probably some place that you can put it. So this is going to be the shadows in my froth that is coming down. Maybe I'll put a little bit of that down here. So the gouache part of it is doing what I want, which is to darken up or to thicken up the paint and make it a little bit more opaque. It is... So, Aaron Films, I'm not going to be releasing your message. We don't do sub for sub on our channel. It's one of those things. YouTube actually will cancel channels that do sub for sub. So you need to be really careful when you're doing things like that. And I don't do sub for sub on my channel. So if that's what all you're here for, thank you so much for stopping by and have a lovely time on your next journey. If you are here for the art, awesome sauce. Hang out and ask questions about art. Look at that. I'm just softening it up now to get that color to move around. So now we've got those shadows in there. We've got highlights without having to do hardly anything. I'm softening up where some of that paint kind of went around the edge. Just soften that up. Let's go to the side view. So, chocolate makes everything better. Absolutely. Yeah, please click that like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel, share the video with your friends, and remember, we're here for the positivity, we're here for the joy, we're here for the support for our friends. Just picking up some of that paint and moving it around. Really and truly, that's, you know, in the long scheme of things, being here for your friends and getting to know people really is the best benefit of these live streams. We get to know our friends, get to make new friends. So the digital download is just a PDF. So open it however you want to open PDF files. And it's just a standard PDF. Oh yeah, I love that cat. That's going to be fun. That's like in the last week of the month, that one will be happening. This one's going to be a crazy quilt, one of those Victorian quilts with all the embroidery. We're going to be doing a lot of metallic and glitter pens and gouache to get it very rich and velvety looking. So, you didn't think your chocolate affinity could get any stronger. Yeah. This is making me want to go make a frothy chocolatey drink. Ah, I just noticed I hadn't put anything up there on the straw. So what I did here is I've taken some black and some of that phthalo blue, making kind of a Prussian blue color because they don't have one in here. I need to blot that spot that I just dropped. I'm going to, there's a sort of a silver gray stripe that goes up the straw. Look at that. And then there was another one that was on the outside edge of it. I'm going to blot off just a smidge of that up here at the top. Look at that. And now I'm just barely touching. I'm barely touching the wet area that I just put that blue, and I'm blue-black color, and I'm just giving it a tiny bit more. So it has sort of a broken line to it. And then I'm going to let it dry, and I will move it up. Yeah, give that chocolate bar fair warning. Fair warning. Linda, you're waiting for the quilt? Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. So that link is up in the more information box and down in the how about this? It's down in the more information box, and it will be up in the iCard at the end of the show, and it is over in the chat right now. There! Get all of that. I am going to see if we can get that gouache to give us some good coverage. I dropped it down on that brownish tone right there. And I'm going to see if I can get it to, it's very translucent. I think that I am going to have to, I'm going to have to say that I'm not a big fan right now of the GenCraft gouache. The watercolor though, oh my goodness, is making me really happy. And I will do a full test with the other colors. It might just be the white, and it might just be my style of painting. I like, excuse me, I like having my gouache a little bit more opaque. I mean, even the Arteza gouache is not perfect, but it is way more opaque. And I'm just going in and starting to give a little bit of that highlight on the chocolate. I'm going to say that the cream running down, yeah, see, even watering it down some, the Arteza gouache does cover more. So, you know, that's honest reviews, honest. I'm not worried about just saying what, you know, the company might want to hear. I am worried about the experience that you guys have. And the experience I have. Gee, you know? So I'm just giving it a little bit more. I want a bit of a highlight right there. You'd like to find it for your painting. What are you looking for, Michelle? Can't find the plastic board. Oh, the plastic board. It's called Coroplast. Coroplast. So Coroplastic. It's corrugated plastic board, and you would find it like at the big box art stores in the area where the signboard, foam board, illustration board, those kinds of things hang out. You would also find it, I've been told, at some of the bigger home improvement. There, home improvement stores. I was sitting there trying to drag that word out of my brain. Just didn't want to get there. I'm going to give this a little bit more, stuff, sort of dripping down. See, the watered down gouache really looks like melted. Like it's like the cream is really melted. Or the ice cream is really melted. There we go. I like that. So yeah, at the home improvement stores where they do garage sale signs, you can sometimes find it in those areas. On Amazon, just do a search for Coroplast, Coroplast. And if you click, I thought I had it linked in one of my tabs, but if I don't, I will go and get that linked in there. I love this board for using as my holding my painting down material and as a palette. See, I just painted that part out there, didn't I? I want to put a little bit of a highlight up there, put a little bit more of the kind of glossy stuff coming down. That runnier chocolatey bit, runnier cream. I'm going to go in and you get 6 for $35. Yeah, keep looking because I think that you can find some that are even less. And another place to look is if you've got a print shop in town that does signboards for that does the printing for like your local elections. Check them out because many times places like that will have printings that didn't work, and they will have them sitting in near their recycle bin or the garbage can, and you can just ask them if you can grab a piece. Then it doesn't cost anything, and if you wanted to, you could just paint it white so that you could have it like a white palette. I'm just taking some of the straight golden brown. I believe that's what they called it. Golden brown. Or no, that's the umber. This is the umber. I'm taking the straight umber. Right there. And I'm just using it to do my shadow underneath the edge of the chocolate. Maybe a little bit along the edge of the cream or froth. Barely touching, just see. I think I'm going to put that right in between. Then you have that glossiness. Yeah, this is definitely a good way to keep from eating too much. Your hands are busy doing the painting. You don't have to. It's hard to eat, and I've tried. Boy, when I did my marathon, 14 hours, that was really, really tricky to get in the food to keep myself healthy as I was doing the painting and as I was doing all those drawings. Foghorn Leghorn. Yeah, good old Foghorn Leghorn and the little chicken hawk. See, I grew up during that. I am just putting tiny little details right along the edges. You bump up the contrast in tiny little spots, and it just sells the whole thing. It makes the whole thing feel round. It makes it feel like you've got depth and substance here. We've got more of a shadow on that side. I'm looking at the reference, that photo that's sitting there. I'm using it to give me a reference for where the colors are darker. I might not be using the exact same colors that are in the photo, but I'm doing okay. And, you know, I'm having fun. And I hope you're having fun too. If you are new here, click that subscribe button and make sure that you turn on your notifications. I'm going to put a little bit down here and I'm going to work it out. Turn on your notifications. And I do have through the 10th already scheduled. So if you are so inclined and you want to see some more of my videos, you can click the actual reminders on the individual videos. And YouTube is much more likely to actually remind you if you say, remind me of this exact video. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking some of that darker color into that light area, but just softly, so that it looks kind of like it's reflections and it's not looking as painted on. I'm going to go back and try some of that GenCraft gouache again, maybe for my soft little bit. See, it's got an interesting consistency there. Put that. We'll say it that way. That GenCraft gouache has an interesting consistency, but it mixed well with the paint, with their watercolor, because I mean pretty much the whole thing was painted with the GenCraft white mixed with the different colors. But to get my stronger white, I did have to go and grab the Arteza gouache. So, because the Arteza gouache is much more opaque, gives us a better chance of getting a highlight. I'm going to put a little bit of that highlight up there. I'm going to just sort of on that just a bit, up here just a bit. We are just about done. I'm hoping that it recorded it on my phone. This one turned out to be a lot longer. Sorry about that, guys. But you know what? Sometimes we need a longer video, right? Sometimes we need to go as long as we need to go. Okay, I see a little bit of space right there that I want more of that lighter color. Speedy Gonzalez, yeah. Well, hey, there was Underdog too. There was Sniffles the mouse. Sniffles, who's talked really, really fast. There's a few YouTubers that talk really, really fast, just like Sniffles. I used to be able to do the Sniffles the mouse. Not so much anymore. Looking at that going, yeah, that edge is lighter, but it's still brown. So let's just grab a little bit of, there we go. Oh, that's better. It needed more of an edge. And you know, you can keep working on this as much as you want and make it as detailed or not as you want. So I just picked up a little bit of that darker brown. I'm sort of taking it up in a few spots into the peanut butter filling right there. I'm grabbing some of that umber straight from the palette. I'm going to give that a bit more of a line. A little bit darker chocolate edge next to the peanut butter, and boom, look at that. The peanut butter just popped out there. You didn't see it, did you? Now you do. And it's darker down here. So get a little bit more of that. I'm working in this hello, Tim Forick. I do not know. I don't read any of the Cyrillic languages, so if you can use Google Translate before you post your message in, that really helps me. Especially since I can sometimes figure out a little bit of Spanish, sometimes figure out a little bit of German, but not very much. So it's nice when you pop into a chat if you can translate, because I don't really have anybody that can sit here and translate right now for me. All right, I'm just getting a few little shadowy bits tucked in here and there, a little bit more shadow down here at the bottom, because it's kind of reflecting that base that it's sitting on. So I'm just going to pull that up just a little bit, soften it out so it doesn't look like it's painted on. I just want it to look like it's reflecting on, not painted on. And ooh, I like that. Sometimes you drag your brush across the spot and then you go, ooh, oh, wow, that did work. So then you can go and you can take that color and move it around a little bit more. I'm going to grab just a bit of gouache. We got some of that highlight on here because this is glass, so I'm going to make it look a little bit more glass-like. Just giving it a touch of a highlight here and there. And I see, even in that reference, I'm starting to see, you look at it for a minute and you start to see, oh, it does have that highlight in there. It does have that sort of glossy shine. That one needs to be not quite such a blob. It needs to be moved around a little more. There we go. All right, and then right there on that top edge, take just a tiny bit more. I'm just using that Arteza gouache because it's making me happy. I'm going to push just a bit of that right up against the edge where that pen line is. See, and by the time we're done here, you really don't realize this one was a pen and ink drawing, do you? We really brought in the paint. And sometimes that's what you want to do. This would be gorgeous done with acrylic. This is one that would work really, really well as an acrylic painting. So think about that if you like using acrylic. Putting just a little bit of shine right there. A little bit more of a shine right there, and right there. And we are going to pull the tape off. This is going to be so pretty. I am going to turn off that image. We are going to zoom out. You want to sleep when you hear my voice? Ah, I take that as a compliment. This day and age right now, we need all the things that give us the opportunity to be calm and peaceful. So calm and peaceful. That's sort of my my way about things. All right, so now we're going to pull the tape off. Oh yeah, this one I didn't have quite enough of a piece of tape, so it had to be 2 pieces on that one. So this is the bamboo paper from Hanamula, and it does warp when you get it really wet. So as you can see right now, this is really warped. It's really cupped. There, see? But I will take this spray bottle, I will spritz the back of it and lay it down underneath of something that's really heavy. But oh wow, look at that, guys. Isn't it cool? Very spacey, very surreal, perfect for anybody who doesn't, well, even the lactose intolerant can have this one. It looks like an image from Star Wars. Ah, thank you. And hey guys, remember, click that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video with your friends. We are going to be doing, let's see, what is tomorrow's? Because we have it in the book. Tomorrow is going to be this pretty succulent hens and chicks in a tray of gravel with string of pearls and a lovely cup of coffee. So come back tomorrow for that. If you're interested in all of the images, they are in my 30 Cozy Creative hand-drawn designs to print and color, available on Teespring right now. And remember, go out, do something creative, take care of yourself so you can take care of those around you. I want to see you back here again really soon. And yeah, I am signing it.